So what the f is going on? Who are these people running around calling themselves intersectionals, threatening to cancel you, get you fired from your job, and get you exiled from your communities simply for not doing what they want you to do or not saying what they want you to say? Hey, it's David Rams here. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, we're going to get into some controversy. We're going to talk about intersectionality. I've seen a lot of comments from you in both my YouTube videos and in social media in general talking about intersectionality. I've seen you saying that it's cancer, that it's bad for veganism, it's bad for animal rights, intersectionality, intersectionals, these people are ruining the world, all these different things and variables of this all across social media and, as I said, on my YouTube videos too. I think it's time to talk about what intersectionality is and what it isn't. Intersectionality is not what most people think it is. It's a legal term created by the academic Kimberly Crenshaw in her 1989 paper, Demarginalizing the Intersection of Race and Sex, a Black Feminist Critique of Anti-Discrimination Doctrine, Feminist Theory, and Anti-Racist Politics. The entire purpose of this paper was to highlight the issues that Black women specifically faced and how discrimination laws didn't account for the unique experiences of someone who was both Black and female. The theory stated that her race and her sex intersect to create a unique experience and therefore unique oppressions and issues that only a Black woman would face. This is the theory, and it is 100% correct. How could anyone argue against the fact that a Black woman will experience the world differently than a Black man or a white woman? This is just common sense. Crenshaw criticized the US legal system as well as the anti-racist and feminist movements of that time for ignoring this. They were more likely to just put people in categories based on if you are a woman, you go here, and if you are Black, you go here, and there was no intersection of being Black and a woman and acknowledging the experiences that these unique individuals faced. Her paper is really powerful and I highly recommend you read it. Now here's what's f***ed up. Modern day activists have taken that theory and started to apply it in ways that even Crenshaw doesn't agree with. Some vegans apply her theory to everything and have even tried to change the meaning of intersectionality to mean all oppressions being interlinked and that we must fight for all oppressions at the same time. Crenshaw has even addressed this in an interview with Columbia Law School back in 2017. Quote, "Some people look to intersectionality as a grand theory of everything, but that's not my intention. If someone is trying to think about how to explain to the courts why they should not dismiss a case made by Black women just because the employer did hire Blacks who were men and women who were white, well, that's what the tool was designed to do. If it works, great. If it doesn't work, it's not like you have to use this concept." Other activists are using her theory as a way of creating a hierarchy of oppression to determine whose opinions are more or less valuable based on the perceived amount of oppression they face or don't face. Basically meaning that the more oppression you are perceived to face, the more valuable your opinions are, and the less oppression you are perceived to face, the less valuable your opinions are. Crenshaw commented on this too in an interview with Time magazine. She was asked, "You introduced intersectionality more than 30 years ago. How do you explain what it means today?" Her response, "These days, I start with what it's not, because there has been distortion. It's not identity politics on steroids. It is not a mechanism to turn white men into the new pariahs. It's basically a lens, a prism, for seeing the way in which various forms of inequality often operate together and exacerbate each other." Seems pretty reasonable, right? That's because it is reasonable. We know that Crenshaw is not supportive of activists using her theory to create this hierarchy of oppression. We know she's not in favor of seeking revenge on the white man or turning the tables of oppression around. It seems that she more wants to scrap this hierarchy of oppression altogether. We can also see that she disagrees with how some vegans are using her theory and applying it to everything. This entire theory was coined as a legal concept to protect Black women, not for vegans to use to describe how all oppression is interconnected and how animal rights activists should be speaking up about human rights. The people with these views and opinions may identify as intersectional. In the animal rights and vegan community, sometimes they refer to themselves as consistent anti-oppression, but it practically means the same thing. But we know now that these people have basically stolen the concept of intersectionality and adapted it and used it for what they want it to mean rather than what it actually means. A more accurate way to apply this theory to animal rights and veganism is when we look at the animals. We often refer to them as the non-human animals. However, when we go deeper into this, we need to acknowledge that, for example, a female cow will experience life much differently to a male cow or a female dog. So to acknowledge the different experiences and oppressions that these animals face will only strengthen the message when we go out to the public and explain all these different animals and what they go through. And it will help us fight for them all individually with their own specific issues rather than lumping them all together as the animals or the non-human animals, because in reality, they all have a very different life with very different forms of oppression. Logically and rationally, intersectional theory makes sense. And to be honest with you, even though some vegans have misused the theory, how they have misused it isn't actually bad. The theory of standing up for multiple groups of individuals and trying to address their oppression in one giant umbrella of oppression and trying to end it all is actually a beautiful thing. It's amazing, it's inspirational, it should be a positive thing. If someone wants to speak up for humans and non-humans, that's awesome, and it's no one's business to tell them not to do that, just the same as it's no one's business to force them to do that. And this counts for if someone wants to speak up for only non-humans or humans. The caveat being that you don't oppress other groups whilst doing so. So what the is going on? How have these seemingly positive, rational, inspirational ideologies become a source of so much hate? Who are these people running around calling themselves intersectionals, threatening to cancel you, get you fired from your job, and get you exiled from your communities simply for not doing what they want you to do or not saying what they want you to say? What these people are is ideologues. The definition of an ideologue is an often blindly partisan advocate or adherent of a particular ideology, or an impractical idealist. They are dogmatic, deluded individuals who are completely incapable of having any rational discussion or debate. It's their way or no way, and they will threaten, harass, and bully you as long as you stand against them. If intersectionality hadn't been created, these people would have just found another ideology to latch onto and threaten you with. For example, some months ago, an ideologue who had made direct action his god tried to cancel Earthling Ed. What for? For not following the social media account Unoffensive Animal. That's right, he was trying to cancel Earthling Ed for not following an account on Instagram. This was nothing to do with intersectionality, this was to do with direct action, of which this person had made his ideological god, and he was upset that Earthling Ed wasn't following this direct action account. These people exist in all walks of life, and they make all different ideologies their gods. The people who do this are drunk on power thanks to the rise of cancel culture. They've had a taste of how it feels to get someone to publicly apologize and embarrass themselves, to get someone to be fired from their job or cancelled off social media, like have their social media accounts taken down, all for disagreeing with what these ideologues say or for having controversial views or opinions, and they want more. These people do not represent intersectionality, and the intersectional ideologue vegans do not represent the majority of vegans who also speak up for human issues. These ideologues have taken an accurate and logical legal concept defined by a rational, well thought out paper written by a profound and well-capable academic and turned it into a show of virtue signaling, power-crazed, irrational children in adult bodies screaming, crying, and shouting until they get their own way. Stand up to these people. The more ground you give them, the more influence they will get. Both human and non-human animals are suffering from the actions of these people because the public does not agree with their behavior and finds it to be ridiculous, and therefore the points that go with it are going to be rejected. The public hates cancel culture, and because these ideologues are the loudest, they associate cancel culture with activism, and they associate these idiots with activists. People are lumping us all into one big group of activists. Don't make the same mistake and lump all intersectionals into one big group too. Intersectionality isn't the problem. Ideologues are. The time for running scared is over. It's time to stand up for yourself. Reject the ideologues and take back your movement before it's too late. Thank you for watching. I hope this video was useful for you. Always feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions or you want to discuss this any further. I'm always open to a chat or even a live stream if you want to have a debate or discussion if you disagree with any of my points. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell before you leave so you don't miss any more videos in the future. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.